House leadership, Republican leadership, they plan to present some framework for overhauling the nation's immigration laws. And joining us on 710 KURV, Executive Director of the Center for Immigration Studies, author of How Barack Obama is Transforming America Through Immigration. We welcome back to the show Mark KRIKORIAN. Mark, thanks for joining us today. Will Republicans be calling for a comprehensive or a piecemeal approach?
Almost certainly a piecemeal is what they're going to say. In other words, separate bills.
So they will be securing the border first, right?
Well, no, that's the problem. That's the question. Will they be doing that first, where they have a bill and says, look, we have to have this enforcement in place. Once it's fixed, working, up and running, everything, then we talk about the next bill. That's one approach. The other one is they passed the Senate amnesty bill that Obama wants, but just in separate pieces, and then just pass it all at once. And that's kind of, that's a pretend way of doing a step-by-step approach, and that's what Paul Ryan, for instance, wants to do. I don't think it's going to happen, but that's the game they're playing.
Open border advocates or, leftist sympathizers on the open border thing saying, we already have enough security on the border. We don't need any more. And some might have an argument there because how much more security could we put on the border, and what would be the threshold that we should be reaching? What compared to the 40-50% capture rate should we be shooting for 75-90%, and then we'd be happy, or what's the threshold here?
But see, that's the key issue, is that we're talking about the wrong thing. This isn't just about the physical border with Mexico. Immigration control is about more than just the border. Only about half, maybe a little more than half, of the illegal population jumped across the border. The other half came in legally on visas, as they're going to Disneyland or coming through a student visa, and then just never left. So we need to fix the immigration system across the board. In fact, if anything, the border we've already put a lot of money into. We probably have to do more there because the Border Patrol is bigger than it used to be, but it's still smaller than the New York Police Department. So it's not like it's excessive. But the bang for the buck we would get the most would be from trying to keep illegals from getting jobs and trying to make sure that visitors leave when they're supposed to leave. And that's the kind of thing that even years and years after Congress nominally required those things to be working, they're still not up and running and finished.
Okay. Executive Director of the Center for Immigration Studies, Mark KRIKORIAN, our guest on 710 KURV.
Yeah, just a quick clarification of the position from folks on the left on the border security issue. Those on the left aren't necessarily against security. It's how the security is put in place. Those on the left don't like what is happening with the trend toward the militarization of the border. So,
yeah, I get the militarization concern, although, we don't have soldiers on the border because it's, they're trained to shoot people and kill them, not to do police work. But again, it's the wrong discussion. The discussion is, how do we turn the magnet of jobs off? How do we make sure visitors leave when they're supposed to leave? That sort of thing. And that.
Why do you want to turn the magnet of jobs off?
Because that's what draws illegal immigrants in. If it's easy to get a job as an illegal immigrant, then people are going to, do whatever.
How do you get businesses to go along with that?
Well, there's a system called E-Verify. It's an online free system.
Does it work?
It does work, but it's not mandatory. So when employers hire somebody, you take their Social Security number and all that stuff, and you submit it in forms, paperwork to Social Security and IRS. Right now, businesses are not required to verify that information. So when somebody says, hi, I'm Mickey Mouse and my Social Security number is 123, you'll have businesses saying, well, it looks legit to me.
Sure,
and then if they get caught, they say, well, what did I know? He fooled me.
Yeah. Are Republicans... Well, let me put it this way. I think Republicans are going to have to compromise on the pathway to citizenship here. This is going to have to be one of their planks that they're going to lay out here, right? The political reality today is that they will have problems winning elections if they do not agree on something that calls for a pathway to citizenship.
Well, if they cave in on this, they're going to have much bigger problems with getting elected because they're going to end up alienating or even alienating more their own base. And see,
they should that's what they should be steering away from, because there are too many Hispanics who are not going to vote for them if they do that.
Yeah, there's been a lot of research.
Even Republican Hispanics.
There's a lot of research on this, though, and that the Republicans can get between a quarter and a third of the Hispanic vote. The Hispanic voters and immigrant voters more generally are big government liberals. They just are. Every poll by everybody shows that. They want bigger government, higher taxes, gun control, all that stuff. Republicans can only get more than that, say, third of the vote, consistently, if they just become the Democratic Party. I mean, that's the only option, politically speaking, which is why, frankly, the most important political objective for Republicans is to limit future immigration so they can work on immigrants who are already here and try to persuade them without more people, 1 million people every year coming in.
That third and quarter that you're referring to in the Hispanic base that is truly conservative and has dug its heels in, they stand to lose that base if they, as you said, cave in and do not hold strong in allowing for a legal path and standing strong in the legal path towards citizenship. That's another potential political poison pill for them. But we'll see what they come up with later in the day. Mark, thank you much. We'll keep in touch. Mark KRIKORIAN, Executive Director of something called Center for Immigration Studies, our guest on 710 KURV.